What's up, Eagles Nation? You're now listening to the Bird Gang Media Podcast with your host, Pablo Gary, the #1 Eagles fan from the DMV.
What is going on, Eagles Nation? It's your #1 Eagles fan from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And I wanted to play this song because I think a lot of us, some of you have the Carson Wentz syndrome, the I can't fight syndrome, the I want to give up syndrome. And look, I know it's been a long time that we've been waiting for Carson Wentz to be traded out of Philadelphia, but I'm here to tell you the time is coming. And I don't care who the Philadelphia Eagles choose to bring in this organization, we must always keep the posture of fighting. I know Chip Kelly doesn't really have a great rep in Philadelphia, but one of the quotes that he said that I will always remember, in one of his pressers, he said, "We're from Philadelphia and we fight." I just want you guys to remember that. We fight. We don't care if it's a quarterback competition. We don't care if it's Jalen Hurts in the second round. We fight. And Carson Wentz had the opportunity to embody who Philadelphia is, but he chose not to. This podcast is going to be all about Carson Wentz, Philadelphia Eagles, how we got here, just everything that's going on right now, because I think it really is a big mess in Philadelphia. So we got to talk about it. Welcome to the Bird Gang Media Podcast. I am your #1 Eagles fan from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and let's jump into it. My biggest gripe with Carson Wentz is it's quite funny because Carson Wentz hasn't said a peep when it comes to his relationship with the Philadelphia Eagles. He came out, I think the first thing he said in the media, since all of this has popped off, and all of the trade speculations and all of the allegations and claims, because we can say all of this is really claims and allegations until he comes out and confirms or denies. But Carson Wentz hasn't done either or. That's my biggest gripe with Carson Wentz. Is like, how is your first appearance on media congratulating Rodney McLeod for being nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, and yet he's not man enough, you're not man enough, Carson Wentz, to look us, the Eagles fans, the Eagle organization, in the face and say, I don't want to be here. Carson Wentz still has yet to formally put in a request to be traded. His agent and everybody is speaking for him. That's my biggest thing. It's like, just man up. If you don't want to be here, that's cool. Just say that you don't want to be here. Give us some direction. And so what we're all experiencing is what these articles and claims and reports are talking about when it comes to Carson Wentz not being a leader, not taking accountability, not being responsible. This is what's happening. It's in front of you. This is what you feel right now. Because some folks still think that there's an opportunity or possibility that Carson Wentz still comes back to the Philadelphia Eagles, competes with Jalen Hurts, and somehow, some way, I have no idea how this will happen, but they make up and start all over again. I'm here to tell you that that's not happening. It's a 0 chance of that happening. Carson Wentz is going to be traded. Carson Wentz is allowing these allegations to have life. He has allowed these allegations to grow legs and to walk around so that he can get to where he wants to go, and that ultimate destination is the Indianapolis Colts. This whole situation is weird to me, but I'm grateful for it, because at the end of the day, Eagles Nation, we won a Super Bowl. So as a fan, I'm okay with it, because I grew up on Donovan McNabb. I grew up on a quarterback of color who was mentally tough enough to withstand everything that the Philadelphia Eagles organization, the fan base specifically at that time, was throwing his way. Was he a little bit sensitive? Probably so. But I'm sure you would be if you felt like you had the talents to, be a face of a franchise and take this franchise to 5 NFC championships and a Super Bowl, and they didn't believe in you. I mean, the Eagles didn't even wait to boo Donovan McNabb. They booed him on the stage. And where's Ricky Williams now? Doing advertisement and cameos for weed commercials. Shout out to Ricky Williams, because he was a dog. I'm gonna be honest. He was a dog, because I used to play with the Eagles on Madden back in the day, but my backup team was the Miami Dolphins and Ricky Williams. That 34 was something different. But yeah, man, this is I think everybody has to take accountability in this situation. And hear me good. I'm not saying that all of this is Carson Wentz's fault, because it's never one person's fault. I could look at Howie Roseman now and say, dude, why would you trade why would you sign a aging 38, 39-year-old tackle who can't even practice for 30 minutes, and you expect him to be healthy 16 games of the year when you have Malcolm Jenkins, the player, then you have Malcolm Jenkins, the leader, who commands respect not only in the Eagles locker room, but the entire National Football League. All he does is play 3,000 consecutive snaps, and you let him go. But that was all so that Carson Wentz can have a higher voice, is what the articles say. The Philadelphia Eagles really gave away Malcolm Jenkins. Let him walk. They didn't give him away. They let him walk. They didn't pay him, so that Carson Wentz can have a more... I don't even understand that. How do you have a higher voice? Like, how do you, if you're not a leader of men, you're just simply not a leader of men. It just is what it is. You know what I mean? There's no getting around that. I don't know, man. This stinks. I remember when Jeff Lurie and Howie Roseman and Doug Peterson went to go take their first meeting with Carson Wentz, and they wined and dined him. They fed him the best steak he could possibly eat. He drank the best wine the Eagles could possibly buy, and they came back home to the Lincoln Financial Field, and they told us Carson Wentz is our guy. I forget how we did it, but he got from 13 to 8 to 2, and I'm not even sure if it was in that specific chronological order, but he did it. And I remember Carson Wentz, Doug Peterson. This was supposed to be the new Bill Belichick, Tom Brady-esque kind of combination. These two were going to be tied to each other. And the first drive, Carson Wentz takes the Eagles down the field. I mean, just throw after throw after throw. I mean, accuracy throws, like NFL throws. And he finished the drive off. I think he threw a touchdown to Nelson Aguilar, of all people. His first touchdown was to Nelson Aguilar. It was a pretty ball. It was either Nelson Aguilar or Jordan Matthews, but I believe it was Nelson Aguilar. No, I think it was Jordan Matthews. Was it Jordan Matthews? Oh, I gotta look that up. I don't know. I think it was one of the two. Beautiful ball, dropped it on the dime, and I was like, okay, This is the guy. This is the guy. I mean, again, like I said, I grew up on Donovan McNabb, and I was just waiting for the Philadelphia Eagles to get that quarterback of the future. Michael Vick was a stopgap guy. Played very well, considering his circumstances. And Carson Wentz comes in, and I'm thinking we're changing the page. But ultimately, I think the Eagles, they took the bait. They got fooled on, Carson Wentz is Ben Roethlisberger-esque. He has a big arm. These buzzwords they say about these white quarterbacks coming out of college. Intellectual, really, really sharp. All of these words that they use. And then after he had his best season, and I will give Carson Wentz his respect, because ultimately, Carson Wentz's best year was the year that helped us get to the Super Bowl. I'm not sure if there was any quarterback in the National Football League that could have outplayed Carson Wentz that year. And he got us to a point where we were 11-2. And then Doug Peterson, he took us the rest of the way. His coaching, his aggressive play calling in the Super Bowl took the Philadelphia Eagles the rest of the way. Howie Roseman helped us get us there, even though he can't draft, even though he sucks at that. He helped us get there. When you pluck guys, pluck talent from other teams, and you consider the timing, giving up a 4th round pick for Jay Ajayi, and then him coming to Philadelphia, instantly having success, bringing in Torrey Smith, bringing in guys. What's the kid name? Patrick Patterson. Pretty much all of those guys that Howie Roseman brung in free agency had a huge impact game in the NFC Championship. So I think Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson and Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie ultimately are all going to go down in history together. I think what we're witnessing is, I think a lot of people say it's a trade, or we're just not just trading him. What's happening is we're going through a divorce. I think we see divorces only in marriage. I think a divorce has shown itself in a different form. There are so many players and people that get attached to fans. They get attached to the city. And that's what happened here. So many people were emotionally invested into Carson Wentz, buying his jerseys, going to the audience of one softball annual event, supporting Carson Wentz, supporting Carson Wentz's Thy Kingdom Crumb food truck endeavor. Buying season tickets, first time buying season tickets because Carson Wentz was the quarterback. This big bright kid from North Dakota State. His divorces are never fun. They're never fun. I'm recently married, and that was a conversation I had with my wife when she was my fiance. I said, hey, look, man, when we do this, we're stuck. We're together. Like, you have to understand when you go through a divorce, man, the toll that it takes. That's why people want this deal to be done already, because it's an emotional wear and tear. And if I'm Howie Roseman, I would start thinking about that. Like, okay, is a first round pick, especially if Howie Roseman is picking the pick, like, what's the difference between a first and a second when it's Howie making the pick? But is a first round pick really, really worth me subjecting the entire Eagles fan base, like, all of this emotional, elongated nothingness? Do I need to just get Carson? Do I need to just take whatever compensation I can get because I personally think that 2 second-round picks, that's great for me. If I can offload this contract, get 2 second-round picks, move on with my life, I would do that. I'm not doing all of this for a first-round pick because I believe that Jalen Hurts is the answer for the Philadelphia Eagles. And though we got him in the second round, I believe that he's going to play like he's a first rounder. I believe I saw enough in 4 games to say to myself, Jalen Hurts has what it takes to show that he could have easily been a first round pick. Easily. When you talk about Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the Jets, what wasn't he like top 5? Everybody said that he was a first round pick, and he's top 5 in his draft, selected top 5. And the Eagles get Jalen Hurts in the second round pick, and he's clearly better than Sam Bradford. I mean, what do you do? So I really wish Carson Wentz. The Eagles are being babies. Carson Wentz is being a big baby. Nobody wants to come to the table and talk like men. Carson Wentz's feelings is hurt. The Philadelphia Eagles' feelings is hurt. It's like, man, look, we gave you all this money and you let us down. We gave you $100 million, like $100 million guaranteed, and you come out and you do this all because we drafted a Jalen Hurts. You could have easily kept him off the football field. Carson Wentz could have put the Philadelphia and the Eagles in a situation where we could clearly, if he had a great season, Jalen Hurts would have been the quarterback on the trading block right now, period. If he goes out and have an MVP caliber year, the Eagles are not even in this situation. So ultimately, look, man, I get it. The injuries, I get all of that. But remember, a lot of people gave Carson Wentz a lot of credit when he didn't have any wide receivers, and he took him to the playoffs and he put the whole team on his back. That was the same roster that he had this year. So you got to play it one way. You can't praise him one year and say, look what Carson Wentz did. Look what Carson Wentz did. Nobody wants to give him a roster, full of hurt players. You want to give him some playmakers. You want D-Jack out there doing this thing. You want J.J. Arthur-Side actually stepping up to the plate and making plays. I mean, you want him to have the pieces that he needs to have. But he had those same pieces. Greg Ward was still out there. He had those same pieces, and he just couldn't get it done. And don't talk to me about the offensive line, because the offensive line ranked 15th in the NFL. 15th per Pro Football Focus. The Eagles' offensive line was 15th in the NFL. So if Carson Wentz's stats is saying that his production is at the bottom of the league, but the Eagles' offensive line is top 15, what does that tell you? Is it the offensive line or is it Carson Wentz? It's Carson Wentz. So I just think moving forward, Jalen Hurts is a guy. I mean, he's the guy. I mean, an article came out today how he's already planning to set up a trip with the young wide receivers down in Texas so they can work out and get some training in. I mean, that's what a franchise quarterback does. That's what a franchise quarterback does. I mean, there's no other way to explain it. And I think, honestly, guys, at the end of the day, what this boils down to, what we're seeing as well, Carson Wentz was never and will never be mentally tough. He's just not mentally tough. And I think they always say when you look at the data, well, let's put the data down for a second and look at the history. The history of Philadelphia Eagles shows you that the Eagles were predominantly successful with quarterbacks of color. Randall Cunningham, Donovan McNabb, Michael Vick, even out of prison. I mean, and I'm 28. So if you're in your 50s and you're an Eagles fan and you know some other quarterbacks, I do apologize. But I'm talking about from my era, there's been quarterbacks of color. Donovan McNabb, he gets booed off the stage because the Eagles selected him over Ricky Williams. Mental toughness. Carson Wentz is not mentally tough. The Eagles fell for the bait, and they got somebody who's not cut from that Rocky Balboa cloth, unfortunately. He's just not. So, hopefully the Philadelphia Eagles can get the compensation that they feel is best or is worth, parting with Carson Wentz. Everybody's saying that the Eagles don't have any leverage. I don't know. Because if a team out there ultimately doesn't get the guy who they want, I mean, how many times? There's an article that came out that says that the Colts they only want to commit to Carson Wentz for like 2 years. So I don't even understand that thought process. So when are the Colts going to replace Andrew Luck? See, it's hard to replace somebody like a Peyton Manning. It's like I feel like teams that have these great quarterbacks, they can never find that right guy. I mean, the Broncos are going through the same thing. John Elway, they still can't replace John Elway, and they got lucky when Peyton Manning joined and signed with them. It's just hard to replace that level of talent because it's just anybody who follows, it almost never works. Think about the Patriots. Tom Brady just won another Super Bowl. So come on. Nobody is going to imagine being a quarterback going to the Patriots, trying to who can Bill Belichick almost has to be fired. So it has to be a change because whoever the quarterback is, you go in, oh man, I'm not doing it like Tom did it. It just never works. Never works. So I don't know, Eagles Nation. Hopefully Carson Wentz is out of here sooner than later. I think we are in good hands with Jalen Hurts. I like his background. I know he's mentally capable of handling whatever the media wants to throw his way, whatever the fan base wants to throw his way. I mean, we live in a very, very scary world. Especially with social media, everybody having the power to voice their opinion, and some people should really just mute their mic. Some people should really just turn their phone off. But ultimately, it's just what it boils down to. And I think he just has the mental makeup, the background, the support system to be able to withstand the Philadelphia Eagle market. Period. You know what I mean? So. Hopefully something gets done. Hopefully, Howie makes the best move. Hopefully this draft, excuse me, we just get some pieces in here. We get some pieces in here so that we can surround Jalen Hurts with talent, surround him with guys that can grow with him. And that's something that I noticed too, is it's important to. And that's why I feel like rebuilding isn't so bad, because when you got guys that you can grow with, guys that you can build with, guys that you go to war with, you sweat blood, sweat and tears with in the off season and training camp, there's something about that, you know what I mean? And I think it's important, because Carson Wentz, like, he never really could get on the same page with Alshon Jeffrey and Torrey Smith. I mean, those guys were considerably veteran guys. Like, those guys had already put 5-6 years, won Super Bowls in the league, and then Carson Wentz, I never really felt like he was able to convince them that he was worth them kind of like believing in him. But if you're the second overall pick, his perspective is like, I'm Carson Wentz. I don't need, it's either you're gonna believe in me or you're not. I'm not going to make the effort to do anything. And as a leader, you have to make an effort. You have to make an effort. You know, if I'm Carson Wentz, even if I feel like the relationship between the Eagles and I it's just off the books, like I'm not gonna allow myself to get torn to pieces in the media. I gotta speak up. I gotta say something. You know, I gotta show people that I still have character. I still stand on morals. I still, I can. What am I trying to say? I can at least try to not leave it on a burnt bridge. And it seems like it's coming off like Carson Wentz. It's just that bad that it's like, dude, the Philadelphia, you have a ring because of the Eagles. He probably doesn't even wear his ring. I guarantee you, he goes home, he looks at the ring, he's pissed off. Because he didn't do it. That ring, he feels guilty because he didn't win it. So I feel myself going on into another whole different spill. Hope you guys enjoyed the Carson Wentz podcast. He is hopefully not going to be here soon. I'm gonna get off here, guys, because my stomach hurts just by talking about Carson Wentz. Eagles Nation, you've been listening to the Bird Game Media podcast / the Carson Wentz podcast. I will see you as soon as I get a breaking news on my phone. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Bird Gang Media podcast with Pablo Gary. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share.
Very simply, we're from Philadelphia and we fight. That's it. If we're going to line up and kick off, you tell us what time to show up and we'll be there.